Hey everybody, it's Kelly at Don't Run with Scissors. It's my little channel here. I'll put my glasses up so you guys don't get to stare at my computer screen as I record this. Kelly, mom, lawyer, Jeep driving, dog owner. Although I don't know that I own them. I think they own me. They're very spoiled. We'll talk about that. So normally so here we are. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I meant to record this yesterday because it's Tuesday, and usually I put my video up usually on Monday. I've been running Mondays. So I went to go record it, and I realized that the little dog, in the butthead that she is, she chewed through my power cord while it was plugged in. She's lucky she didn't shock herself. I'd been nursing it along because it wasn't bad. Well, she did it again, and it was bad. So it wasn't charging my laptop. So it's like, okay, I'll run. My laptop's under warranty, and the whole selling point of the warranty, when I bought my computer from the Micro Center is the place that I bought it from. The guy said, "Oh, you'll want to get the extended warranty," as if he knows me, right? You'll want to get the extended warranty, and I'm like, well, yes, because I've always bought my computers there, and I always buy the extended warranty, so that if something happens, I just walk in there and I don't have to worry about the bill. He goes, "You'll want to get the," but he says to me, "You'll want to get the extended warranty." And I go, "Oh, really?" Because why not encourage this sort of behavior? And he said, "Yes, because if you take your laptop into the tub with you and it falls in the water, we'll replace it." Honest to God, that's what he said. I said, how often does that happen? Because, like, I'll take my laptop if I'm watching like a movie on it into the bathroom, and I'll put the lid down on the toilet and put it on the toilet. We have a small bathroom, so that's possible. And I'll sit and soak in the tub, and I'll watch the video, whatever movie it is. But I've never actually taken the laptop into the bathtub. More likely for me would be that my hands go numb if my ICP is up, and I'll drop tea or something into it. So I buy the extended warranty. So I go in there and I get the new charger cord free of charge because it's covered under the warranty. Apparently not a big deal. He packs it all up. I'm like, great, I'm good to go. I ran a couple other errands, come back home, and somehow between Micro Center and my home, I lost part of the new plug. Only me. So, as I started to sit down to answer a couple emails on the little bit of battery that I had left, and then I thought, well, maybe if I make it really fast, yeah, I can record my Flosstube and I can get it up. The computer battery died, so I ran back down to Micro Center this morning. I tell the guy, look, I don't know, like if it got left out and neither one of us caught it because it happened to be the same guy, or what. I go, I'm absolutely willing to buy the new extension, the piece of the cord that I'm missing if I need to, right? They don't have any. They're out. They look all over the store. See, I lost this part of the cord that goes to the wall. And he goes, they look all over. They don't have any. He goes, hang on a second. Checks on it. He sends me over to Best Buy. I get to Best Buy, which is not even a mile from the Micro Center store. And the guy at Best Buy is like, well, it should be right there. And because I had the guy from Micro Center printed it all out for me, right? So I knew exactly what I was getting. I knew the SKU number, everything, right? So he pops in and he goes, well, according to this, we should have some. So he goes in the back, right? And he's like looking all over for the stupid cord. It's a $10 piece, like seriously. I'm like, but I can't work or do anything because it's my laptop. Everything's on my laptop. And so he goes around, he goes back, he goes, I don't know where they are. And all of a sudden he looks up at a different peg where it should have been. because it should have been on like on the very bottom. He looks up at the top rung and he goes, "Oh, they're right here." He hands it to me. So now I have my battery. Yeah. hmm But the charger itself was $50, $49.99 plus tax. So I still am out ahead. $30 as far as I'm concerned. 30 or $40. Yeah. So the little dog better not chew my cord. The other problem that led to with not having my access to my computer is I realized that several of the patterns that I'm working on right now, they're only on my laptop. Which meant I couldn't work on them yesterday. And I didn't really want to start anything new because I really want to focus on getting stuff done and that. So yeah, so that was fun. So all that to say, here I am. It's Tuesday. It's trash day. We have to take the trash to the curb because Guy comes in the morning, and yeah. It's been an adventure. A few more days left in 2020, and we'll head into 2021. I don't know how I feel about that. In some ways, I feel like this year has just dragged and has been just a clusterfuck after clusterfuck. And then in other ways, I'm like, oh, for the love of God, 2021, please come. Yeah. I talked to my friend Jason today. He's a fellow triathlete. He had registered for a race in April. It was originally supposed to be, it's an ultra marathon. It was supposed to be held this last April. They postponed it to November. Then they postponed it to April. He just got a letter or an email saying that that race was again postponed. It makes me scared to register for any races other than like one that has a virtual option, which is really throwing off my mojo and my desire to train because like what the hell am I training for? So we'll see. I did bike last night. My legs are feeling pretty heavy. I wasn't feeling good this weekend. Didn't sleep well the night before. So yeah. So I actually slept in today, which was very exciting. So going back to Maisie and the crazy Maisie. Poor Maisie. She's actually a very sweet girl. And if you follow me on Instagram, I'm His Princess Kelly on Instagram. I post pictures of my dogs, as well as my cross stitching and everything else I do and my training and whatnot. There's a picture of Maisie from this morning, and she's like just peeking out underneath the blankets. She was not real thrilled with it. And the other day she gave me like the side eye. She wasn't happy with me for wanting to get out of bed and get moving. And then because I was gone for a whole whopping, like maybe 2 hours? 3 hours absolute tops. And I don't think I was gone 3 hours today. I came home and you would have thought I had left her for like a year and was coming home. So the other night though, thanks to my crazy dogs, everything, Christmas stuff is all clearance. Okay. And if you started yesterday, I think yesterday, and you restarted your advent calendars, it would lead you to inauguration day. Advent calendars are 50% off at least. So I bought my dogs advent calendars. And every day they wake up and they get a treat with their advent calendars because they're counting down the days till there's a dog back in the White House. It's the little things. I originally only bought one on clearance. And so the first day, yes, we're on day 2. So the first day they had to share the treat. Now the treat is only about this big. That's not bad if you're Maisie because that's a good size. Yeah, but that is still a good sized treat when you only weigh, less than 20 pounds. But if you're Lizzie and you weigh 100 pounds, that's a really shitty part of a treat. So I went out and I got a second box. Second advent calendar. So now they both have their own. I think it's absolutely hysterical. And if I could find an advent box right now at 50% off for me, I'd buy it too. Because why not? You literally could just, you could buy the advent calendar and you could use it to count down anything like till the end of the month. Who knows? Like, who cares? Who doesn't like waking up and getting a little treat every morning? Just saying. So yeah, it's been one of those kind of the last week. So here on my little section of Flosstube, in case you haven't figured it out yet, we talk a lot about my dogs because why not? We talk about stitching, we talk about knitting, we talk about cross stitch, we talk about sewing, we talk about life, we talk about crazy clients, being a mom, my two crazy kids, like the fact that I haven't done dishes. The dishwasher is still broke. I think I've resigned myself to the realization that I'm just going to have to buy a new one. And so rather than hand washing dishes, which I'm totally capable of doing, and I'm pretty sure at 20, both of my children are capable of doing, what I do when they get piled up like this, I put them in my bags, and I go over to my friend's house, and I use their dishwasher. I use his dishwasher, and while I'm there, I'm like working on files or doing whatever, but it's quiet there. Like I don't take the dogs with me or anything. Like, it's just quiet. Don't tell my secret. So that's what we do. Hmm. Yep, and I have a printer over there and everything, and Wi-Fi, and all the coffee I want. So it's really not a bad gig. And then I put them in the bags, and I bring them back, and the kids have to put them away. It's true, that's what I'm doing right now. Welcome to 2020. So I have done some stitching even with Christmas. Oh, I gave Bean her pillow, the chemistry pillow, and when she saw it, she grabbed it and her eyes lit up. It was definitely a hit. I think it was probably the biggest hit of Christmas, which is kind of cool. I'm glad she liked it. I thought it was really cool. Um, so I'm still finishing up Christmas stitching, like Christmas themed stitching, because why not? I took some flack for doing that, like, hey, Christmas is over, put it away kind of thing. And I was like, I'm this close to finishing. Why would I put it away? I just want it done. I'll like add it to my FFO pile. Um, it has snowed 2 days here. So I owe my reindeer 2 days because I didn't work on them those days because of things that were going on and whatnot. So I do owe Rudolph 2 days that aren't snowing to make some more progress. The other thing is I'm just going to go ahead and use those DMC variegated that I found rather than going ahead and purchasing the Karen water lilies. I haven't heard either way from anybody to know if that's a good idea or not, but I'm going to try it. If it looks like shit, I'll take it out and go buy the Karen water lily. Right? I'm drinking tea. I'm a Lipton's black tea. Well, this is Meyer's version of Lipton tea. I'm just a regular tea drinker most of the time. I do put a little bit of milk in that. That's the English in me. My bougie tea. I do drink sweet tea though. There's a little southern girl in me. Okay, so I don't have, I have an almost FFO to show you. This is they're by Bent Creek. It's a little sheep. That's the winter one. He's not perfect. He's not perfect. Oh well. Oh well. So this is a board I picked up at Joann's when they were 90% off after Halloween, because you know it's black, so whatever. And it's got the little hanging twine. I can't find the, don't laugh. Okay, don't laugh when I say this. Bobby, stop it right now. I can't find the extension cord to plug in for my glue gun. So I can't use my glue gun. So right now it's taped with masking tape. And then I'm going to glue. If worst comes to worst, I'll just pull out the Gorilla Glue. I know where that is. And I'll with it. And then I'm going to pop magnets here and magnets here. Or maybe I'll pop magnets on this and like a big washer on the back so that it will just sit in there. Look, it's done. And then when I do the next one, which is Smitten. That will just go right there, see? Oh, the other thing that I bought on the Christmas clearance was dog treats. Because my dogs don't really care if they're getting gingerbread flavored treats or not. But now that I used to be able to get away with buying one pack because the treats are by size of your dog. Well, Keegan weighed 80-ish pounds. Lizzie's 100-ish. You know, it was close enough where they both counted in the same subcategory of dog. Lizzie and Maisie don't. I have to buy little treats for the little dog, big treats for the big dog. And I looked at more dog sweaters for Maisie. It's crazy. I don't remember if I welcome to my life. I think I showed you guys this. I had finished the Steady Thread, the Christmas branch. I have not FFO'd it yet. It's in the pile. One day, well, now it's not in the pile, but it goes in the pile. One day it will get finished. The other thing that I did was Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World, which I love watching her floss tubes, and her Gumroad has got some really great patterns. You should check it out. I'll try to remember to pop them below, but we all know I half the time I remember, half the time I don't, so I can't guarantee you which time this is going to be. But she did some cute Christmas stitch patterns with like make your Yuletide gay, and now we don our gay apparel, and I thought that was hysterical. And her and I were joking, and I said, a friend of mine who happens to be gay said, you know, there's that song, Mary, did you know? Like, and I love that song. His response is usually, we all know. We all know. You just know. So I stitched that up. I made baby Jesus with his little rainbow. I don't know that you can tell that it's rainbow metallic floss, but it is. But yeah, I thought that was funny. So I'm going to finish that into like a little ornament for my friend because I think it's adorable. So that goes in my FFO pile. So then the Steady Thread had another stitch along that they were doing for Christmas, and it has like the dangling things too, and it's like a mitten, a Christmas tree. Remember, I think I told you guys, I elected that I'm not going to stitch the little dangly bits, but I did finish Merry Christmas, and I'm just going to turn it into probably like a little pillow roll. Well, I mean, I'll add fabric, so it'll be a bigger roll, but like just a little. So that goes in the. One day I'll FFO it. One day. I don't know when. I really don't, because I literally have projects that I finished, like stitching, and haven't FFO'd, like I said before, 1997. And then I was talking to Kim from Stitch Life. We were talking, and somebody else, and I was laughing because last time I spoke to my mom, like my mom and I had really gone over some things. She still had a stitch. It's not a cross stitch. It's a needle point crewel work that I had done when I was little, and it's a little girl, and she's praying at her bed, and it's the back of her head, and it's supposed to be this ponytail, like the spirally ponytail. I even went so far as to you had to like wrap the yarn around a pencil and get it wet, and then it had to dry that way, and then you take the pencil out, so it was like this ringlet ponytail. That's all prepped. But the ponytail never got attached to the kid's head. It's my oldest whip. I want to say it was probably 7 or 8 when I did it. It means it's probably a good 40 years old. It's okay. It's okay. Because my grandmother had one that's older. So my grandmother had my mom and my aunt. And they weren't Barbie dolls, but they look like Barbie. They're similar size to a Barbie doll. I forget what they were called. I don't know. I got to play with them as a kid. In fact, I had them, and I don't know where they, I don't know. I don't have them anymore, whatever. But my grandmother had these, for each of the for my mom and my aunt, she had these, they were really pretty boxes, and they had all of the old fabric, like the old satin, and it was rough, and it was stiff and nasty, and it had all of the stuff to make the dresses to go on this doll, on these dolls, and she had a set for each of my aunt and my mom. Well, she never made them, so they got somehow passed down to me when I was little, and my mom was supposed to make them for me. Well, I never really got into Barbie and never really had Barbie, so my mom never made them. So then my mom was like, well, you could make them for your daughter. Bean didn't like Barbie dolls. She didn't. She could have cared less. So I never made them. Bean's getting them when she has a daughter. Poor Bean. I feel bad for Bean. Bean's also got a wicked sense of humor, in case you haven't figured it out. And Bean promised me one night she would name her firstborn child Monterey Jack. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. I think it's hysterical. Could you imagine my first grandbaby is going to be Monterey Jack? Well, if she has twins, she could name them Monterey Jack and Kobe. Just saying. It's a possibility. Okay. Yes, it's been a long week already, and it's only Tuesday. So what I was supposed to finish yesterday, once I got the replacement cord, was Brenda Gervais' Mary and Minty. Clearly that didn't happen, but I'm close. So my goal, I'm going to work on this tonight. And I don't know that I should be at least able to finish the reindeer and probably even Santa. And then she's got another row of the candy cane stripes and a row of like Quaker flowers and then another candy cane stripe. That section may have to wait till tomorrow. I don't know that I'll get all of that done. But it's super cute. So once it's done, it will go into my pile of finishes that I don't know what else to do with right now. So in between running around and dealing with all of that, I did meet with a new client yesterday and got that retainer and whatnot. So we did get some work done, some actual legal work. And I've gotten a couple other things done. I pulled out some yarn because Sprinklestein stitches and I believe Black Ribbon Stitcher. Our goal, and this has been on my bucket list for a while, our goal in the new year is to learn how to make socks. I feel like I'm missing out on a whole world by the fact that I don't know how to knit. I can knit the cuff and down. I can't figure out the heel. And I have one pair that is literally to the point where I just need to do the heel and keep going. But I figure why not? I have 2 of these skeins. They were on clearance and I've had them a little while. And I guess I could, it's to make a little stuffed hamburger. I don't want to make a stuffed hamburger. Well, first of all, I don't know how it's supposed to make a stuffed hamburger out of one skein because the light brown on the bun there's none in the middle. Like, and you're supposed to be able to work the project with one of these. That makes no sense to me. So I got out my little handy dandy little teeny tiny needles. And I have started another pair of socks, and it will be hamburger color because I have a second skein. So I'm going to make probably the boy child because Bean doesn't eat hamburgers. I'm going to make the boy child a pair of socks. So I started to cast on that set of socks. I know I made it really far, didn't I? See, all about, let's see, 6 stitches. I'm cruising. By this time, the boy child might be graduating undergrad with his degree by the time he gets his socks. Oh wow. So the other thing that I did is I have my wipgo board. I'm doing wipgo with Jessie Does Stuff, and a bunch of us are playing, and it's kind of fun because you get to make your own board. And she called the first, no, she's called the month February. Let me start again with my mouth actually working with my brain. She pulled the January number so we could all start to get ready for January. She pulled the free, well, she pulled 6, 18, and 13. 13 is the middle of the board, and for most of us, I think, we made it our free stitch. And anytime she pulled the free spot where you could do whatever I guess you wanted. I didn't put anything in my free spot. I think I'll count Mary and Minty in that spot. So anytime she pulled that, she would pull a third number. So that's why there's 3 numbers this month. Otherwise, there's only 2 per month. She's not going to ever pull the same number again. So once it's called, it's called. So then you don't get to cross it off until it has to both have been called, and you have to finish whatever you put in that spot, like your goal for that spot. So my 2 goals this month, God help me, they're not going to get done in January. I'm kind of resigned myself to realizing that they're not going to get done in January, but that's okay because it's not like I get to call a wipgo on 2 squares. Well, 3 on 3 squares. So for me, I need to finish, because I have 25 stitches into it. Maybe a little bit more. Sienna Travels by Barbara Anna. I think in order to make that go faster and more enjoyable, I'm going to take out the linen and restart it on even whatever this is. This is 18 count, I think. It's actually from Joann's. It's just kind of an oatmeal color that I've been doing. I've been switching out the linen from the sheep. It takes so much energy for me because I'm not used to stitching on linen, and I know the solution is you need to stitch on it more, but it's just it's an operation and frustration, and right now I just don't have that. So I think if I pick up another square of that and restart the Barbara Anna, it probably will go pretty fast. We'll see. I would anticipate if I work on it sort of focused, it probably, certainly by the end of February, I probably could knock it out. But the other one that I put down was to at least stitch up all of the grid work for Bean's periodic table. So I did actually work on that last night because clearly I don't need a pattern. Well, there is no pattern for it. I'm making this shit up as I go along, which is probably most of my life story. But what are you doing? I don't know. I'm just making it up as I go along. Look, I can't even find it. Oh, here we go. I found it. On the wrong side. Okay. So I'm sure everybody by now has seen the whole periodic table of elements that the brother did. He lives, I think, in Portugal. Um, there's no pattern. He didn't do one. He's just kind of, he'll give you the formula of kind of how he fixed it, but since he did his on 18 count Ada, and I'm doing mine on 14, it doesn't translate quite as well. I stitched a black line. That's probably about half as wide as it's going to be. What I have figured out is that each, if my math is right, if I mathed right, if the math is right, then each element block will be 65 stitches wide by 70 stitches high. And then there'll be a border all the way around the outside of the, like a colored border once I put in the periodic table of elements, and there'll be a big border. And that will max out the 60 wide or the 60 high, and it should give me almost like 70 wide. I like big projects. The cool thing about wipgo and some of the projects that I put on there, like I wanted to have by the end of the year, I wanted at least a two pages finished on Van Gogh Jeep, which means at some point I get to pull back out Van Gogh Jeep, which I miss stitching on. As crazy as it is, I do miss it. I put on there 3 Small Words by Lizzie Kate. I believe Janet Jabber and Janet Jabber is doing that as a sal with somebody else, and I'm joining in because it was on my list of ones I wanted to do. And I had tracked down the patterns and stuff since they were out of print, and I have them all. They're all in a little, I already have them in a little sleeve. There's only like 10 flosses total between all of them. So, and I probably have all 10. And they shouldn't, they're little. They should stitch up fairly quickly. So we'll see. So that's on my board, like to do that. I got in the hands-on design the flamingo ornaments, so I want to stitch up those. So that's on my board. That shouldn't take up that much time. I'm just hoping they get called before January. Here's the other thing about wipgo. Like if I decide like, okay, it's October and that square still hasn't been called, I can go ahead and do the project and sort and like half cross it off, and then when it's called, that number is called, you finish crossing it off and you can use that towards whether or not you get a wipgo. What I haven't decided is how I'm going to, like when I get a wipgo or a full, like cover my full board, what I'm going to do is kind of a reward or a prize to myself. I don't know. I'm technically still doing no starts in 2021, but that's going to get, that's not going to happen because I got busy doing some other stuff, so I couldn't get my 200 stitches into several projects that I was counting on having 200 stitches in, so that I could have it as a whip rather than as a new start. So I have things that are all kitted up. So what I'm still going to do, I'm allowed to stay in the group, and that's fine. And even if I blow it and start new starts on January 1st and 2nd and use up my free one and then still start another one, I'm allowed to stay in the group. So there's a saving grace. So I'm counting on that. So I'm just going to use it to sort of really focus in on those projects that I've already got kitted up, which is still quite a few. Yeah. So that's the goal for 2021. The other thing that I started working, I have to get another, I have to turn my whole computer for you guys to see it, sorry. I have to get another bulletin board, but it's pretty hard. So I will there's 3 of us now because Bina's starting the climbing goat space cell on the 1st. So there'll be 3 of us stitching in this house. And the boy child has decided that he's a monogamous stitcher, which is fine. So he's got his threads in his little case. I clearly am not a monogamous stitcher. And I don't know what Bean's going to do. But my plan is that I'm going to bobbinate all of my flosses that I have in any of my kits in that, and put them, I'm hoping it only takes two big bulletin boards. We'll see. Have them up there. And that way I know if the bobbin is up there and it's empty, we don't have it in the, like, we don't have it to use. If the whole bobbin is missing, that means it's in somebody's stitching that they're doing. And I don't need to necessarily buy a new one. I just need to find out who has it and see if I need it at the same time. But that will save me from buying a bunch of floss for Bean, a bunch of floss for the boy child, a bunch of floss for me. I'm hoping that makes it a lot more practical. And it's kind of cool to look at, honestly. What I am finding out is, like, I haven't finished even bobbinating from the Epic Disney Princess Sal, which is no longer Sal because the pattern's been out for a while, but I'm working on it. I haven't touched it in a while. Need to. That's also on my wipgo board. To finish the castle, I think I have to finish the castle in at least one movie. I have bought a whole lot of duplicates, like, unnecessarily. That's a little frustrating. Yeah. So there we have it. The boy child has decided, or he has said, he's going to make me homemade guamki. I'm really hoping he does it. Okay, well, he needs to do it sooner than later because I bought all the ingredients and I don't want to lose like 5 pounds of ground beef and 2 heads of cabbage. I'm kind of hoping he'll do it for New Year's Eve dinner. And then I'll make pierogies from scratch. Maybe. Maybe they'll be Mrs. T's. That'll be the surprise. And then maybe I'll do sauerkraut and kielbasa. Out of that, Bean will eat pierogi. And she eats kielbasa. She'll eat the filling, I think, to the guamki, but she doesn't eat the cabbage, like the roll part. Otherwise, I don't know. What's everybody else having for New Year's Eve? I feel like we had ham often when I was a kid. Last year we did wings and appetizers, but we just did that for Christmas, which was a huge hit. Like, everybody, and I didn't even make all of them. All the appetizers. Let's see when the kids were little, we used to do Chinese food. But I don't like the Chinese restaurants up by where I live now, so it'd be like, do I want to drive 20 minutes to get Chinese food to drive? I don't like driving on New Year's Eve. I'm going to be honest with you. After about, like, there's certain days after about 4 o'clock, I don't drive. I don't leave my house or wherever I'm at till the next day. Halloween is one of them because I'm terrified that, like, with little kids darting and trick-or-treating and stuff, it just, like, I just don't do it. After about 4 o'clock, I'm in for the day. New Year's Eve is one of them. Is the other one really that I can think of offhand that nope, not worth it. There isn't. So I am a homebody. We generally put together a puzzle, which Bean got one of the periodic table. Are you seeing a trend with Bean? So we may work on that one, and then, so we play games and just munch all night. I have this really cool stuff, and I wish I could remember where I got it. I want to say I got it at a store at Mall of America, which means it's a couple years old, which totally could be. Totally could be. But it's paper, and you write your like New Year's goal on it, and then you light it on fire, and then the paper like flies away. You fold it and it flies away. Which technically, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm a sucker. If you light any little flimsy paper, it's gonna fly off, and it won't stay lit for very long. But this is really pretty paper, so oh my god, I'm an idiot. Okay, so we have the wish paper, so we generally do that, and then I have a board in the living room area that we write, each of us write our big goal for ourselves, and then we write a goal for the family. So we decide as a family, like, what do we want to do as a goal? So that's, I mean, we're pretty low key. You know, I tell my friends, if you guys want to come over and crash for the night, that's fine. Doors open. We enjoy it though. So that said, I have signed up. Let's see, the kids. So for Christmas, I got the Wind Stitch program. Kevin got me Wind Stitch, so I can design patterns now in Wind Stitch, which is kind of cool. I've got to be able to sit down and use it. We're going to do Modern Folk Embroidery Sale, Urban Stitches After Dark Sale, Lindy Stitches Sale, Cloud Factory There Is No Planet B Sale, I will probably do Peppermint Purple black work again. The Steady Thread black work, the framework looks really cool. And I think it's a garden theme. So I may join that in. I'm actually debating on Peppermint Purple because I only have like 6 or 7 squares done from last year. Well, this year's. So what I could do is just finish up my WIP from last year, like this year's the 2020 stitches, each week in 2021. There's a On the Beach stitch along that I got through Etsy, and the frame, as soon as you sign up, she'll send you the thread. It's called Beside the Sea on Etsy, and it is by, not a freaking clue because on the frame it doesn't say. It's by Patty Break, but that is not her Etsy shop name. So if I think about it and I remember, I will throw it down below for you guys. It's fairly small. It's gonna drop like every other week, I think is what she has said, and it's like 6 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks long. Does that make sense? That's too short. It's every other week though. I'm still doing the Matryoshka sale, which still behind on it. Who's surprised? Not me. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something. I don't know. Because why not rebuild your business that's been sort of closed down due to the pandemic? Why not rebuild that? Which was still, my business was a fairly new business when we got closed down with everything. Why not rebuild your business, train for Ironman, and join 17 sales, plus all your other WIPs. Oh, and learn to knit socks. And I have to learn how to do color work so that I can do, my yarn's actually been in for a while. I just keep forgetting to show you guys. I'm doing the Descent sweater. I found it on Ravelry. She's got her pattern somewhere else too. This is actually looking really green. It's not supposed to be green. It's supposed to be more blue. So that's kind of scary. But it's 100% Peruvian Highland wool. A Peruvian, I believe it's a sheep. Not from Peru, though. It's from Knit Picks. It's their palette fingering weight yarn. So this will be the color work or the contrast color for the collar, and it looks like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the famous, the one that's on like the Descent stuff, is the color of the sweater, and this will be my main color. So it would totally be cool to wear to work, to even to court. It's not like all in your face. I bought extra of the black so I could make the sweater longer because I don't like them to just end right at like the top of my hips or where my waist is. I want them to be kind of mid to bottom of my butt cheeks. But I need to knit. I need to finish some sweaters because here's the problem. Well, it's not a problem. It's absolutely not a problem. Between the end of September and when I went to see my doctors the other week, I've dropped more than 40 pounds with very little effort. On one hand, that's a good thing. I've been working with my nutritionist. We've been identifying foods that really bother my stomach and kind of eliminating those. I've talked about that. Like I'm basically gluten-free now because gluten really bothers me. Onions, garlic really bother me. Beef is really bad. The biggest culprit for me is honestly oh, and dairy. As much as I love cheese, that's really that's been my hardest one. That's actually for me for a lot of things harder to take out than to take out gluten. So sometimes I know, like I can calculate, like I know I'm going to be a little bloated or a little uncomfortable because we go to Blaze's Pizza and have pizza, and I can get gluten-free crust, but vegan cheese is not good. At least I have not found a vegan cheese that is good because it doesn't get melty. It's not like you can have a grilled cheese sandwich with vegan cheese. It's not. It just or a pizza with vegan cheese. It's not melty and gooey like it should be. But in eliminating some of those things that we know are problems, I have my body's just clearly enjoying it. So all of my clothes are getting, yeah, I'm coming out of COVID with clothes that are way too big, and everybody else may have clothes that are too small. So, but that's good because I mean, as much as my coach is really good in understanding that I have a lot of eating disorder issues in my past and doesn't want to trigger those. So he doesn't harp on me about, okay, we really need to get your weight down for training. And I'm grateful because John is a great friend, and otherwise we work phenomenally well as a team in identifying, okay, so how do we work around this? And he's really hearing me. And I'm actually the first para-triathlete he's worked with. He normally works with able-bodied. I hate that when they say able-bodied. I think normal-bodied. I don't know. I don't know what else to call them, like regular athletes. So he's really taking his time and understanding what I need from him versus what, just barking things at me like that. That doesn't necessarily compute. If I'm having a bad day with, like, there's a weather change in the barometric pressure or whatever, which we've had lately, and it's been really bad. It's like, okay, so how do we work around that? The other thing is like, okay, and I told him this the other day. He sent me, we're in strength training season right now. And so he sent me back and he's like, okay, so here's your plan. You're going to do jumping jacks. And I'm like, and he goes, or you could substitute burpees. And I wrote him a note and I said, okay, John, can we find a substitute that doesn't involve any sort of jumping or jostling? I'm like, 10 brain surgeries and boobs. And he laughed. And so we found a solution. My gym is now open. Hopefully it will stay open. Who knows? I honestly, I'm not holding my breath, which means I need to get my Vasa swim trainer set up somewhere in here, which is, I don't know where, with all the Christmas stuff. So I can keep up my strength, my swim, the strength in my shoulders and stuff. But I'm dying to get to the pool. I don't even know. I haven't put on my swimsuit in over a year. I have no idea what it's going to be like. Here's to 2021. Worst case scenario, I have several tri-suits. Tri-suits are designed to be in the water, not obviously in the chlorine water, but I have several that I have gotten from being on various teams, and each year you're on a team, you have to buy the new tri-suit. So I have several years worth of triathlon suits. I'll jump into the pool until swimsuits kind of come back into the stores to buy. I'll wear my tri-suit and just rinse it really well when I get out of the pool. I don't know. It'll be fun. So that's the lowdown here. I sure as heck did not anticipate taking almost an hour to make this video knowing what I had, but we've talked a lot. Talking's good. That's kind of where we're at. I hope everybody else had a great Christmas regardless of everything. I know several of my friends are struggling. They're, my dear friend is burying his grandmother this week. I think on Friday is the funeral. He just buried his mom not long ago. So I'm certainly sending prayer. I know he doesn't watch my Flosstube. But I know there's several people who are struggling, and if there's anything I can do to help, let me know. We're all battling our own battles, but and struggling in some ways. But Cujo will gladly let you take her as an emotional support animal. She needs a lot of emotional support. She is a needy dog. We'll figure it out. If you need something, let me know. Otherwise, keep stitching, keep doing epic stuff, and have fun. And we will talk to you in 2021, which is way exciting. If you suffered through this video with me and you like what you see and you are not a subscriber, though, hit the bottom button down below and subscribe. Bye, guys.